Divorce is rarely easy. It's a process fraught with emotional pain and logistical challenges. It's a time of emotional turmoil, financial upheaval, and difficult decisions. The division of assets, the splitting of finances, and the reorganization of lives can be overwhelming. For many couples, the heartache extends beyond their relationship to encompass the furry, feathered, or scaled members of their family, their pets. These animals are not just pets. They are family members who have shared in the joys and sorrows of daily life. Pets are often deeply integrated into the fabric of a household. They are there for morning routines, evening cuddles, and everything in between. They provide companionship, unconditional love, and a sense of normalcy during stressful times. Their presence can be a soothing balm in the midst of chaos. The thought of losing this source of comfort during a divorce can be unbearable for many. Pets often serve as emotional anchors, offering a sense of stability when everything else feels uncertain. The question of who gets the pet can become a significant point of contention. Unlike material possessions, pets are living beings with their own needs and attachments. Unlike children, pets are not subject to custody arrangements in the traditional sense. The legal system often views pets as property, which can complicate matters further. This lack of legal framework can exacerbate an already stressful situation. Without clear guidelines, couples may find themselves in heated disputes over their beloved animals. Couples may find themselves grappling with questions of ownership, living arrangements, and the emotional well-being of their beloved pet. Who will provide the best home? Who has the time and resources to care for the pet? The decisions made during this time have lasting implications for both the pet and their human companions. The well-being of the pet should be a priority, as their lives are also being disrupted. It's crucial to approach the issue with sensitivity, open communication, and a focus on the best interests of the animal. Consulting with pet experts or mediators can provide valuable insights and help facilitate a fair resolution. While the road ahead may seem daunting, understanding the nuances of pet custody and taking proactive steps can help ease the transition and ensure a positive outcome for all involved. By prioritizing the well-being of the pet and maintaining open lines of communication, couples can navigate this challenging time with compassion and care. In the eyes of the law, pets are considered property. This classification, while seemingly cold and impersonal, forms the basis of how pet custody is handled during a divorce. Unlike child custody, where the court prioritizes the best interests of the child, pet custody often boils down to matters of ownership and possession. This is where the role of solicitors becomes crucial. Solicitors specializing in family law can help divorcing couples navigate the complexities of pet custody. They can review ownership documents, such as adoption papers or purchase agreements, to establish legal ownership. In cases of shared ownership, solicitors can help negotiate agreements regarding living arrangements, visitation schedules, and financial responsibilities. However, it's important to note that the court's involvement in pet custody disputes is often limited. Judges may intervene in cases of abuse or neglect, but they are generally reluctant to dictate the finer points of pet custody arrangements. This places a significant responsibility on divorcing couples to reach an amicable resolution. For unmarried couples, the legal landscape is even murkier. Without the framework of a divorce proceeding, determining pet custody often relies heavily on negotiation and compromise. When determining pet custody, one factor often holds significant weight: the primary caregiver. This individual is typically the person who has taken on the majority of the responsibility for the pet's well-being. They are the ones who feed, groom, exercise, and provide veterinary care for the animal. In many cases, the primary caregiver has formed a particularly strong bond with the pet. Courts, while recognizing pets as property, are increasingly taking into account the emotional connection between pets and their human companions. As such, judges may be more inclined to grant custody to the primary caregiver, recognizing that this arrangement is often in the best interest of the animal's emotional well-being. This approach mirrors the concept of the psychological parent in child custody cases. However, it's important to note that simply claiming to be the primary caregiver is not enough. Evidence is key. Detailed records of veterinary visits, purchase receipts for pet food and supplies, and even photographs showcasing the bond between the person and the pet can all serve as valuable documentation. Presenting a compelling case demonstrating the depth of care and commitment can significantly strengthen a person's claim as the rightful custodian of the pet. Section 4. Parallels and differences, pet custody versus child custody. While the emotional bonds between humans and their pets are undeniable, it's crucial to understand that pet custody differs significantly from child custody. Pets often become integral members of the family, providing companionship, emotional support, and even a sense of purpose. However, the legal system does not yet fully recognize these deep emotional connections in the same way it does for children. The legal system, while evolving, still views pets as property, not family members. This means that in the eyes of the law, pets are often treated similarly to other personal belongings, like furniture or vehicles. This classification can make custody disputes particularly challenging for pet owners who view their pets as more than just property. This distinction has significant implications for how custody disputes are handled. When a couple separates, the question of who gets to keep the pet can become a contentious issue. Unlike child custody cases, where the child's best interests are paramount, pet custody cases often revolve around ownership and possession. In child custody cases, the court's primary concern is the best interests of the child. This principle guides judges in making decisions that will most benefit the child's physical, emotional, and psychological well-being. This often involves considering factors such as the child's wishes, especially if the child is of an age where they can express a reasoned preference. The court may take into account the child's relationship with each parent and their desire to live with one parent over the other. The parent's ability to provide a stable and loving home is another critical factor. This includes evaluating the parent's financial stability, emotional health, and overall ability to create a nurturing environment for the child. The potential impact of separation on the child's emotional well-being is also a major consideration. Judges aim to minimize the trauma and disruption that can result from a custody battle, striving to ensure that the child's life remains as stable and consistent as possible. Judges have broad discretion to create custody arrangements that they believe serve the child's best interests. This can include joint custody, sole custody, or various forms of visitation rights, all tailored to meet the unique needs of the child and family. In contrast, pet custody cases lack this child-centric focus. The primary concern is often who legally owns the pet, rather than what might be best for the pet's well-being. Courts are more likely to rely on legal principles of ownership and possession when determining who gets the pet. This can include examining who purchased the pet, whose name is on the pet's registration, and who has been primarily responsible for the pet's care. However, there are some emerging parallels between pet custody and child custody. As society's view of pets evolves, so too does the legal approach to pet custody disputes. As mentioned earlier, the concept of the primary caregiver is gaining traction in pet custody disputes. This means that courts are starting to consider who has been the main caretaker of the pet, including who feeds, walks, and takes the pet to the vet. Additionally, some states are beginning to recognize the emotional value of pets and are allowing judges to consider factors such as the pet's well-being when making custody decisions. This shift acknowledges that pets, like children, can suffer from the emotional fallout of a separation. While these developments are encouraging, it's important to remember that the legal landscape surrounding pet custody is still evolving. As more people advocate for the recognition of pets as family members, we may see further changes in how pet custody disputes are resolved in the future. Section 5. Financial implications, beyond basic needs. Divorce often brings with it a host of financial considerations, and pet ownership is no exception. Pets, much like children, become integral parts of our lives, and their well-being is a priority for many pet owners. While the emotional toll of pet custody disputes can be significant, it's crucial to address the practical matter of financial responsibility. The costs associated with pet care can be substantial and should not be overlooked during divorce proceedings. Unlike child support, which is legally mandated to ensure the financial well-being of a child, there is no legal obligation for pet maintenance in most jurisdictions. This lack of legal framework can complicate matters, leaving the financial burden on the pet owner who gains custody. This means that the financial burden of caring for a pet after a divorce typically falls on the person who is awarded custody. This responsibility is not just about providing the basics, but extends to ensuring a good quality of life for the pet. This responsibility extends beyond basic necessities such as food, water, and shelter. Pets require regular veterinary care, grooming, and enrichment activities to stay healthy and happy. Veterinary care, grooming, toys, treats, and other pet-related expenses can quickly add up. Regular checkups, vaccinations, and emergency medical care are essential components of responsible pet ownership. It's essential for divorcing couples to have open and honest conversations about their financial capabilities and to create a plan for sharing the costs associated with pet ownership. Transparency in financial discussions can prevent misunderstandings and ensure that both parties are on the same page. This might involve one party providing financial support to the other, or it might entail splitting expenses such as vet bills or pet insurance premiums. Clear agreements can help avoid future conflicts and ensure the pet's needs are consistently met. In some cases, couples may even choose to establish a separate bank account specifically for pet-related expenses. This dedicated account can simplify the management of pet care costs and provide a clear record of expenditures. Regardless of the chosen approach, addressing the financial implications of pet ownership during a divorce can help prevent future disputes and ensure that the pet's needs are met. By planning ahead and considering all aspects of pet care, divorcing couples can make informed decisions that benefit both the pet and themselves.